And for a good bit of the room, you're all going to be very excited about our next and last Illinois Boxing Hall of Fame inductee of the night, and the last name on our program, Mike Hollywood Jimenez. There he comes. Yeah. Okay. Mike was simply one of the most popular and successful fighters in modern Chicago boxing history. He was born in '87, grew up in Des Plaines. He was a successful football player, played through junior college, and felt he was at his athletic peak when he was age 20, and football was over for him, as it is eventually for everyone. He made his way to the Cornerstone Gym, where he fortuitously met Hall of Fame and future Hall of Fame inductees Pete and Donovan George, who managed his training from practically the first day, along with Sam Colonna. Mike also is a proud union iron worker, but he decided to lean into boxing. He had 37 amateur fights, hugely exciting guy to watch, drew great crowds, and lots of fans. Pete George decided it was a great time for Mike to turn pro, and Mike says, it was a very fast and electric time in my life. He fought as many as 6 times a year early on, winning in exciting manner, and as you know, drew fervent and large crowds. And then he was promoted by Bobby Hitz, and there are some very touching words from Bobby at the end of this, which I'll read. But all of us who watched Mike's early fights, one in particular stands out against a man named Antoine Eccles. And Antoine Eccles, when Mike fought him, and I think you were 9-0, Mike? Antoine Eccles had already fought twice for a world championship and had nearly 50 professional fights. And those of us watching were like, man, Mike's getting tossed into some deep water. And he wasn't. He beat Antoine Eccles soundly, a decision that was never in doubt. And it helped put Mike on the map even more than he already was, although he will give Eccles a lot of credit. He says, and I quote, "He hit me harder than I've ever been hit in my life. He hit me with a left that dislocated my jaw, and 2 rounds later he hit me with a right and popped it back in." In his pro career, he went 24-2-2, held the WBC Continental Americas belt, the UBF International title as super middleweight, when unfortunately tragedy struck. As I mentioned, Mike was and is a proud union iron worker, and one day, and he continued to work as an iron worker throughout his professional career. While working on a piece of equipment, a piece flew off, hit him in the eye, and complications ensued. He ultimately, after numerous surgeries, lost the sight in his eye, which unfortunately not only ended boxing for him, but also being an iron worker. He says it was a very dark time, but of course, he remains, and anybody that knows Mike will know this, he remained relentlessly positive about life, and that positivity paid off for him. He had a lot of options coming out, but he eventually applied for and got a job at the International Union, where he continues to work as a union rep and organizer to this day. And as he famously says, "I used to fight for myself in the ring, and now I fight outside the ring for other people." And it's a wonderful story. Mike, like seemingly everyone else in the room, has high praise for Sam Colonna, who was in Mike's corner for nearly every fight that he ever had. And Sam said, "One thing I admire about Mike is that he would stop and help a young fighter and try to correct him and even spar with them to help them out and always give them good advice." But the most touching words were from Hall of Fame promoter Bobby Hitz. And this is what he said, and we love Bobby. The biggest praise that Bobby could give him when I spoke to Bobby about Mike was, Mike was recently inducted into the Hitz Boxing Ring of Honor, which is highly selective. There are very few people in it. And what Bobby said of Mike about the Boxing Hall of Fame induction was, "It's a well-deserved honor. Mike was the last fighter to captivate the city. He had that it factor, personality and talent. He knew how to get the most out of himself, and people loved him. We miss him." Hitz continued, "He was a pleasure to promote. We never had an official contract. He was loyalty personified. He was a superhero." And of course, he ran the Hollywood Clique, which is no small thing. Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Illinois Boxing Hall of Fame inductee, Mike Hollywood Jimenez.
Thank you. Oh man, just like the good old days. Mike Malo and me packing the place. There's more Southsiders here than at the last Sox game. You know, years ago, oh man, I'm already getting emotional. Years ago, my little sister, she dug up an old school letter that had it right. And one of the questions asked was, what is your biggest fear? And my answer was, the fear of becoming nothing. Crazy how we're here today. From the good old days, the Sabre Room, Mayweather-Pacquiao card, fight in Australia, and here we are. You know, I gave my heart to the city. I had a great and blessed career. It ended too soon. I often tell my in-laws, I wish they were there for the rise of Hollywood. Ugh, it was a hell of a ride. But you know what? Life goes on. Since my last fight, I met my soulmate, we got married, and we started a family, and we have my son, Charlie. I always felt like it was too good to be true. I didn't always follow what others were doing. I didn't even have a locker at Sam's gym. You know, I sit at the ringside bench every day, my stuff out for everybody to see. One of the top guys in the gym, no flashy stuff, just hard work. It was always about appreciating the journey for me and the experiences and the relationships along the way, never the destination. If we crossed paths, I hope I made it worth it, and I hope it was a memorable one. If you ever helped me out, I'll let you know I was forever grateful, and I'll always be in your corner. You know, there's power in decency and kindness. The mohawk, the tattoos, that legendary ring walk, the tassels, man, it was a lot of fun. It was all for the fans. They bought into me, and we built a brand and a household name for the Hids boxing family. That was Hollywood. We did it in our way. We did it with style. We did it with class. It was truly one of a kind. It was countless hours I put in before and after my laboring job as a local 63 union iron worker. Still no clue how I did it. The best thing I'll ever do in my life is be a husband and a father. I've done a lot in my life, but those things are great, and I have a lot of great accomplishments. I won a few titles along the way. The best title I'll ever have is Dada. You know, I got a laundry list of people that I want to thank, but I'll try and keep that short. Sam Colonna, you know, my coach, a great teacher, a mentor, my therapist a lot of times, early mornings, late nights, thank you. Pete George and the whole George family, you know, sometimes I still walk through the door with the right hand. They took me in when I was kind of lost. They helped mold me. Bobby Hits, man, thanks, boss. We had a lot of great memories together. We did a lot of great things, and it may often be imitated, but it'll never be duplicated. What we did was one of a kind. Linda Samuels, she was amazing. Billy Hubert killed me in the gym. Rick Glazer, my silent advisor. Glenn Muller, rest in peace. Tom Sostis, he's here tonight. The owner of Clark's Bar and Grill in Lincoln Park. A lot of people might not know about it, but man, we had a lot of late nights there, a lot of epic after parties, and a lot of epic memories. All my iron worker brothers and sisters, my wife, my son, they're a daily reminder of how much of a blessing every day is. my family, my friends, all my supporters and sponsors over the years. It's amazing. You know, my mom, my brother, my sister are here. If you guys don't know who my mom is, you've heard her before, you just haven't seen her, so. But thank you to everybody for the Hall of Fame acknowledgement of my career. Thanks to Mike and Pete. It's an amazing accomplishment, an amazing acknowledgement. I'm blessed. And I hope if there ever is another Hall of Fame call one day, it'll be the Hall of Fame for being a father and a husband. Thank you.
Yeah. We're just taking the tour of the stage, everyone.